So here's a super quick look at the Opinel 12. Opinel is actually a French company. When I first went on their website, they have a baffling number of knives. It's quite confusing. So in the end, I went for the one that they call the Nature, or the number 12. They're all fairly similar, but at first glance, if you don't read the instructions, you can be a little bit disappointed with this. However, it is actually a superb little knife, and let me show you why. So it's got the standard grip. When you open the knife as well, which I'm going to attempt to do one-handed. Here we go. It produces a 4-inch blade. There we go, sorry about that. Produces a 4-inch blade that's very high in carbon steel, which makes it lethally sharp. You'll note from my, oh, you can't really see it now, but I cut my finger using it the first time. It is incredibly sharp for a little nature knife. The next thing is, I was worried about it because you push and you think, well, hang on, I'm not going to have much confidence when I'm working with this knife if it's doing that. However, what you do, you see this little gap here. Once you've got it where you want it, you turn it and it locks the knife in, which is actually a really nice little feature. So be careful with this knife. When you first look at it, you may think it's a bit weird, but as you understand it more, it's a great little knife. So I'm just going to tuck that back in before I cut my fingers off. At the other end, you have a whistle. Brace yourself. That's up to 110 decibels apparently. You've got a nice line cutter here, which would be good for seat belts or when you're fishing, or as a line cutter. And on this side you've got a little bit for attaching a carabiner. All of this is controlled from this bit in the center, so you can just put it into carabiner mode, right? Or you can put it all the way out across for the cutter and a little bit to still attach the carabiner. Here's the little party piece. If you put it halfway in between, he said, doing it one-handed, this little bit comes out the top, and this is for removing ticks, which is actually really useful. So you kind of hook that onto the tick and then twist and pull off, and it'll take ticks off as well. And again, that sits quite securely and actually acts as the kind of on-off for the for moving the bits side by side. Anyway, he said, doing it again one-handed. There you go. So it's gone back in. I'm going to put it back into the carabiner mode. Usual kind of stuff. Nice little silicone rubber grip. Which makes it great, and even when the knife is locked down and in, you can lock this bit across just to keep the knife safe from opening anyway. The final thing, which I'm probably not going to attempt now, is it has a thing called the Savoy knock or something. Basically, if you open this bit up, do you know what, I'm going to have a go. Ready? Brace yourselves. So if you do this, let me get this right in my head. You do that, you have that in your thing, you bang it, it pops the knife out slightly. So if you have difficulty getting your fingernail into there, which I did, you bang it hard and it pops out. I always feel a bit worried about banging it hard, but it doesn't seem to knacker it in any way. Final thing to point out, carbon steel is a little bit less resistant to rust than stainless steel. So first recommendation would be to oil it and cover it in a little bit of mineral oil just to protect it. They talk about having a lovely patina on it, which you can do as well. But here's the advantage of carbon steel. You can strike good, decent sparks with it. So I'd actually argue that it's quite a nice thing to have this kind of carbon steel if you're using it in nature or at a camp, because you can use it to create some pretty decent sparks. I think the only thing I've ever used that's better is titanium. So there you go, quick look at the Opinel French knife. This is the number 12. They have many choices. Some of the choices I noticed are quite high end. They've got really lovely woods on the handle, which make them a really lovely gift. And this one, you've got some very basic ones as well, which is great if you're on a budget. This one falls somewhere in between. I'll put a link at the bottom in the comments section as well to a blog I've done with a bit more information. And please like and subscribe if you like the terrible low quality videos that I do. There you go.